If you've been struggling to land clients for your agency, I know exactly how that feels. When I started, I had leads buried in emails, random spreadsheets, and half the time I forgot to follow up. And here's the truth. Most clients don't say yes on the first time. They say yes on the 5th or even 6th follow-up, which means if you're not organized, you're literally leaving money on the table. That's why in this video, I'm going to show you the exact workflow I'd copy if I had 0 clients and wanted to make some quick sales. You'll see how to capture leads, follow up automatically, and then turn those cold contacts into paying clients. Stick with me because this workflow could be the difference between another month of no sales and landing your next 5 clients. The biggest pain point for me is spending that time generating leads, having conversations with people at trade shows or events or networking, and then forgetting to follow up with them. And then when I go back and check, just because I've been busy in the day-to-day business, I look and 2 or 3 weeks have passed and you feel like that lead has gone cold, or even worse. And I'm going to be honest with you, this isn't just a thing that happened when I first started my agency. This is something that's happened time and time again until we implemented this system, which now takes care of it for us. And it's just this overwhelming kind of like you can't do everything right. When you're out filming, you're editing, you're managing client accounts, you're trying to do new sales, and then you're like, I've missed on following up with this conversation, and it just feels chaotic. It's this constant battle of frustration of not being able to do everything, and then the guilt of letting people down or good conversations going cold. So let's break this system down. First of all, every business sale begins with a lead, a set of contact details, and that can come from a whole variety of ways. So for instance, you could use social media to generate new inquiries, you could attend networking events, or even you could go to somewhere like D7 Lead Finder, type in, an area where you currently live, and then the type of business. So I've just put restaurants in here. Then it will give you all the email addresses and phone numbers for businesses that match that criteria. Now, this is a paid for service. A free way of doing it is to jump over to Google Maps and actually, again, go to an area, type in what you're looking for, and let them all come up down the side here. Now, this is a little bit more time consuming, but if you're starting out and you've got no money whatsoever, then you might just want to do this. You go through it, open them all up, and then you're basically just looking for contact details. Then that will start to generate those set of details which we're going to reach out to them on. If you've been going for a while, then you might just have stacks of spreadsheets that are buried in your drive somewhere, massively unorganized, but that's loads of data that we can try and revive through this process as well. Another thing you can use, which is free to use, there's an app called Converge Hub Lead Generator. This plugs into your Chrome extension, and then you can go through LinkedIn if you've got lots of connections on there, and it will actually take the contact information for a particular lead or a prospect. We're going to copy to clipboard, then we're actually going to put them into our workflow. So we can all agree that it's impossible to make a sale without having a lead. So now we've got those, it's about being organized. We use GoHighLevel. These guys have supported the channel for a while, and they've actually supporting you by giving you an extended free trial. If you want to check this out at any point throughout the video, go have a little play around with it. It's a fantastic bit of software. But the most important thing at this point is we're going to want to bring this into our contact sheet. So we want to add them into here so everything is organized and all together. And by plugging in this next stage, it showed me that I actually had like 12 leads that were warm conversations that I could pick up on right away. So within this part of the process, GoHighLevel gives you a dashboard so you can quickly see at every stage where the leads are at. But I'll come back to this in a moment. What we want to do is go to the opportunities tab. Now, obviously, I'm using a test agency account for this because I don't want to share all of the details for our clients with you, but this is the same process mimicked. So we can create different opportunities and different types of pipelines. So we've got a sales pipeline. You can create a marketing pipeline. It might be that you've got a pipeline for people you've spoken to at networking. It might be that you've got a pipeline for cold calling or cold emailing. However you want to stay organized and keep on top of it. But the benefit of this is all your contacts are in one place and they're going to be easy to organize and understand what opportunity is that lead currently in. So is it just a lead where it's just some information? We haven't really done anything with it. Do they need following up? Have we booked in a meeting with them? Have we done a discovery call? So after we have booked in a meeting, that's what we call a discovery call. So when we want to sit down with them, we start to understand their problems, their pain points, we tell them our prices, and then we make a sale. And then we can send a proposal or we can send them an invoice to start the work. So it's really important to understand at what stage of the funnel is the lead currently sitting in. And this stops that massive overwhelm of just having leads on spreadsheets that you can't keep track of, because that's what always happens, right? They fall behind. These leads here, they just get forgotten about after a while because there's so many to keep on top of because you're busy doing the stuff over here. So that's when we need to lead to the next part of the process, which is automation, to make sure that we don't forget about these people who have been slow at getting back to us, slow at replying, or maybe are just stuck in this cycle of we've had a meeting with them, but then nothing's moved on from there. Because you're ultimately going to be spending a lot of your time sending proposals, doing discovery calls, making the sales. Or if you're still working in a small business or one-man band, you're going to be sidetracked by the day-to-day running of your business. So it's really important that we now automate this inside our workflow. So we've got the lead because the sale can't happen without a lead. We've put them into one place to consolidate everything. So that's spreadsheets or just the data that you're generating into one place. And now we've created a pipeline so we can easily see where each lead is at what stage. And again, you might have your own pipelines based on how you discovered that lead in the first place. This is just removing the overwhelm and the chaos from day-to-day sales, which most people hate. Now, most sales happen after 5 touch points with a client. I know that within our sales cycle inside our business, because we're high ticket, it can take up to 3 to 6 months to make a sale with someone. So we definitely want to make sure that in that 3 months of generating new leads and having lots of conversations, that no one gets forgotten about, because that's really costly to our business and means that we could be losing thousands. And the problem here is that a lot of creatives and business owners, they give up after 1 or 2 follow-ups because they don't want to feel like they're pestering the client. So this is where we're going to go over to the automation tab, so we can do this all within one hub, and we can go ahead and create an automation or workflow. And how this works is if this thing here happens, then we're going to do this. But there's a whole bunch of preset templates, and we're actually going to go through and adapt one of them now. And the recipe we're going to use here is long-term nurture and reactivation sequence, because it gives us in the best situation. And there's so much that can happen here, which I think is extremely interesting. So one automation that you might want to consider doing as well to really make sure you're on top of your leads is that when a new contact is added, you might want to tag it. And how tags work is that when we assign a tag to a contact, it means that we can track what's happening with that. And a good tag is to know where they've come from or what business they're in or what industry. So for instance, if you are a general agency and you're working with a whole diverse range of different businesses, then it's going to be really important to, when you send your emails, to tailor it to the industry you're speaking to. So let's say we're speaking to hotels. We're going to want to just only put our contact details or our leads who are hotel businesses into that automation, right? And the same thing, let's say if we were going to do restaurants, it's the same thing. We're going to want to tag them as restaurant owners so that we can put them into a email sequence for restaurants. Now, there's a couple of things that are key here, right? So when you've got a lead initially, we're going to want to reach out to them. Now, cold calling is going to get you the quickest kind of answers and replies, but you can also couple that up with automating an email sequence. So what I would suggest to you is that you have lots of different automations, and there's lots of different recipes for that. So you have one automation for tagging newly added contacts. You have another automation for sending out a cold email sequence, which will follow a similar process to what we're doing right now. And then you'll have a follow-up sequence as well. And you'll be able to have that for each stage of your pipeline. And the main thing is look, keep it simple to begin with and then adapt it as time goes on. We've got loads of different automations running for our business, depending on what stage of the pipeline they're in. Have we sent them a proposal and they've not got back to us yet? Then we can automate that section. So it's really, really key that we do this, but don't overwhelm yourself. Just keep it simple to begin with. And if you want to just make some sales, then do 2 main automations. The main automation being the initial tagging of the lead so we can track that longer term, and then just adapt this to do your cold email and follow up to begin with as well. And this will help you make more sales. So what we're going to want to do is add a trigger. So a trigger is when something happens straight away. So that could be a contact is created, or maybe it moves towards a pipeline. So for instance here, pipeline stage has changed or opportunity stage has changed. So when it moves from a lead into this, that's when it says this automation is going to action. But to keep things simple, let's just go with, we're going to start when a contact is added, when a contact's created straight away, and we're just going to save trigger there. After the contact is added, it's going to wait a period of time. There's a time delay on this. This could be minutes or days. So for instantly, if we're going to do a cold email campaign, then let's just have it wait for 1 minute. That's fine. and we can send that on Monday, Tuesday, etc. So we just have it running throughout the week, and then the normal window times as well, because you don't want to be emailing people at midnight. It then is obvious it's going to be an automation here. So we're going to save action and then move on to our email process here, and so on and so forth. To keep things really simple here, to give you a little bit of guidance on this, you're just going to want to touch base with them. Keep it really short. People make the mistake all too often about making it too long. A really lengthy email, giving them your life story. You don't want to do that. It's just, hey, this is what I do. This is the problem we solve for your business. Are you interested in having a conversation? Yes or no? Now, I do have a free workshop. It's linked in every single one of the videos that we do. So grab a space on the next workshop to check that out, because I go through email automations, frameworks for emails that work really well, and how to try and convince these people to move on to contracted retainers with you, because that's the only way that you can build true stability within your business, is by using a retainer system. So it stops feast and famine, where some months you're really busy with work and other months you're on the hunt for more work. This retainer system means that they're contracted, they're paying you a set fee every single month, and inside the training I break down exactly what that looks like and how to adapt it to your business. And obviously you will learn the email automation strategies that go along with that. So for the time being, we're just going to click save action, and then we're going to go ahead here and we're going to add in a filter. Now, the filter here is going to be based on did they reply or not, because if they replied, we don't want to keep sending them follow-up information. So we're going to go through and set that now. So what I'm going to use here is a wait action. So waiting for the contact to reply, and then it will time out after 3 days, and that's what will give us the answer. So replying to the email before. So what it looks like is this. Okay, so the contact has been triggered. They're waiting for, we did change this to 1 minute. I just would update the name there. They wait for 1 minute, then send this email. Then 3 days later, we ask the question, did the contact reply to us, yes or no? So basically, if the contact did reply to us, then we can exit them from the system, and that's fine, or move them into another automation. And if they didn't reply to us, then it will continue happening. So it will send another email, and we just keep doing this time and time again. Now, to give you an idea, what I would do here is I would follow up with the client initially, send the initial email, then wait 3 days, then wait 1 week, then wait another week, and then move it into kind of like a monthly or bi-monthly basis. And you could have this running indefinitely, because ultimately, if they're not replying to your email, then you can just leave that running. That's up to them to tell you otherwise. If they reply to you and say yes or no, then great stuff. We've got an answer. We can just update it on our system here as well. And something you might want to consider is, I was talking about tagging earlier on, is if a client does actually fall through this, and let's say a client does reply, maybe we can tag them. So we would click on here, we would click on add tag, and then the add tag might be something like, contact replied or contact hasn't replied, depending on what you want. Those tags are really fundamental when you scale at mass, which leads us nicely on to the next step. I can't tell you how nice it is to know that you're doing sales in the background. So if you're out filming, if you're dealing with clients, if you're just busy or even on holiday, that someone is doing sales, because without sales, your business will die. That's just a matter of fact. So as long as we keep bringing leads in, and again, we can be using the marketing tab. There's lots of really cool tools on here as well, so you can actually create your own website, you can create a funnel, you can do surveys, quizzes, you can do things that act as what we call lead magnets, that bring people in to you, and when they come to you and they fill out their details, they get added to the contact form, the opportunities, so on and so forth. So it really ends up being this great machine that's just pumping out opportunities for sales. And ultimately, it stops you laying awake at night thinking, who have I forgotten to follow up with, or feeling guilty about those conversations that you had that were really good, and you just forgot to touch base with that client, and then you've lost out on that potential revenue or that opportunity to grow your business. Now you've got this set up, you can focus on the human part of running your business, which is sales calls, delivering great work, keeping good clients, and making sure they keep coming back to you time and time again. The system doesn't completely automate your entire business, but it removes the guilt from should I have followed up, and frees up that mental energy to focus on growing your business in other areas. So to recap, we're capturing the leads, we're adding them to the pipeline so that we know what stage they're at. We're then setting follow-up automations, and we are scaling this by adding more leads. Without this, you're relying on luck and memory. With it, you're building predictability, and you can now copy this exact workflow today using GoHighLevel. Normally the free trial is 14 days, but we've arranged a 30-day trial for you guys as members of the channel. So the link's in the description, go check it out. It's the next logical step to grow your business.